2 years ago, I moved to the United States with 2 suitcases and a lot of opinions. Most of those opinions were completely wrong. I had more than 2 suitcases. I had like 6 or 7 suitcases, but saying two sounded more dramatic and cinematic, so we're just gonna say 2 suitcases and a lot of opinions. 2 years later, I found out that most of those opinions were completely wrong. There were things that I judged a lot of food that I refused to try, and parts of American culture that I didn't understand and I did not want to understand at all. This video was supposed to come out 3 months ago on my 2-year anniversary here in the US in March, but life happened, so here I am 2 years and 3 months later. And in this video, we're gonna talk about all the things that the United States has taught me. If you're new here, welcome to my Just Talk. If you're not new here, welcome back. I would say we can start with the video. Living in a country is very different from just hearing about it. So here's everything that the US has taught me. My first 2 months here, I used to compare everything, literally everything, to Italy. Every restaurant, every tradition, every little detail. I was like, oh, in Italy it's not like that. Oh, back home is different. And if it wasn't like Italy, I always assumed that it was the worst. But living here has taught me something that I would say it's important, actually really important, that different does not mean worse. Different is just different, and that is the beauty of living in a different country from where you grew up. The first couple of months that I lived in the US, it was terrible because, as I said, I compared everything to Italy. I compared everything to back home. And I feel like that's what ruins your experience in a different country. If you move to a country and you compare all the new things to what you're used to, you're gonna live in hell. It's okay to accept the difference. It's okay to say, yes, back home it's like that and here it's like this. This is my new home. And this is why I'm making this video, because I had a kind of resentment towards the US because I didn't have anybody. I was home all day. I couldn't work. I was away from my friends. I was away from my family. I was alone. Opening my mind to my new home, that's when I would say my life changed. I realized that if I would have kept doing that, I would have just hated my life. I don't know how many times I repeated it, but just open your mind. This is your new home. Hating everything and comparing everything is not gonna help you. It's not gonna make you, let's say, grow up, because that's the beauty of new things. Different does not mean worse. Different is just different. And two things can be true at the same time. Back home is like that, here is like this. We don't have to hate a country because back home is different, okay? This is my life lesson that I wanted to give. Connecting to the first point, I'm gonna talk about American Italian food. When I moved here, the first couple of months, I was a big hater of Italian American food. And I'm starting with Italian American food because a lot of people ask me, what do you think about Italian American food? What do you think about Italian Americans? And if you would have asked me the same questions 2 years ago, I would have said, no, they're not Italians. No, the Italian American food is not Italian at all. It's whatever. Now, 2 years later, I found myself being an absolute sucker for Italian American food because it's delicious, because I stopped seeing it as this is not Italian, this is not what I'm used to. I started seeing as they were once immigrants, they were once people that missed home, and they were once people that needed to feel like home with the things that they had. So all the food that is not considered Italian, or I did not consider Italian in the beginning, is just food that has changed because of the difference in ingredients. Right now, if you ask me, even some of my recipes that I try to replicate here have slightly differences because of the ingredients. Yes, I can find most of the ingredients the same that I found back home, but I cannot find everything. That doesn't mean that it's not Italian anymore. One day my kids will be Italian Americans, and one day my kids will change their recipes. So why hating on a whole culture passing down tradition? There are Italian Americans that are more proud of being Italian than Italian of Italy themselves, okay? I feel proud to be Italian now that I'm in the US. When they ask me, where are you from? I say, I'm from Italy. We can go on with number 2 because I feel like this has been the longest opening of my life. I'm so sorry, guys. Honorable mention to Mexican food for our number 2, because before moving to the US, I thought that Mexican food was too spicy. If you have seen a couple of my videos, you know that I am absolutely a sucker for Mexican food as of right now. Mexican food and Mexican culture, I would say, represent me to my fullest. I found myself a lot liking Mexican culture because I feel super close to Mexican culture. And Mexican food, 2 years after I moved to the US, became a new home. When I make a specific recipe, pastina and sopita, this was the biggest that made me blew my mind. When I was in Italy and I was sick, I always made pastina. There's like a pasta made with the broth or with the vegetable broth. There's like a cube, okay? Very easy, very simple. It's called the Italian penicillin. Penicillin? That, because you're sick, you eat it, you feel perfect. When I moved here, I used to have a horrible immune system. Horrible, I mean horrible. I would get sick 13 months out of 12 of the year. It's more the time that I spent being sick in my first 23 years than not being sick. Okay, to explain to you the context. Anyway, I was sick and I made it. Didn't work. Did not work at all. I associated that with back home. I feel like I've talked about the pastina so much in my videos. As I said, guys, you know me, my videos are not scripted, so I feel like talking about something and I talk about it. But anyway, didn't work, didn't make me feel better. And I was like, well, great, now I don't have my penicillin, my comfort food anymore. And then a couple months go by and I got really into Mexican culture, Mexican food in particular, thanks to TikTok, by the way, because TikTok really opened my mind and my audience was mostly Mexican. So they were like, try this, try that, try this, try that, please try this, try this. And I've tried all sorts of Mexican food. And one of these food that my audience suggested to me, all my people, I love you guys forever, was sopita. And I made it. Oh, wow. Wow. It became my new pastina. Sopita for life. Pastina is for when I'm in Italy, sopita is for when I'm in the US. Okay? Oh my god. It was amazing. And as I said, before moving here, I thought that Mexican food was just spicy and it was nothing else. And I was scared to eat it. I was scared to try it. As of today, Mexican food became one of my most comforting food. And today I'm happy that I tried it, and I'm happy that I didn't just stop at that place where it was no Mexican food, it's only spicy. I'm never gonna try it. Okay? So thank you to the US, because that's where I experienced it. Okay? This was one thing that it taught me. Let's go on with number 3. I feel like I've been talking forever. I'm sorry, I don't want to make these videos super long, okay? 2 years ago, I thought that the US did not have a culture. I made a video about it. I link it here if you have not seen it. If you see a lump in my hair, it's because I slept with these, and don't do it if you have flat hair. This is my natural hair, by the way. I haven't done them today, and they're flat as a paper. Because I'm on bed rest, because I destroyed my knee rollerblading, so... As I was saying, when I moved here and before moving here, I was spitting shite, pardon my French, on the US and its culture. Like, there's no culture, they have nothing, and they're new. I'm like, hear me out. As I said in my video about American not having culture, I feel like Europeans in particular have this association with culture means ancient, like old. So we have buildings that are older than the US as a thing. Like, my grandma's house was made in the 1800s. And I was like, yeah, no, they don't have anything. They don't have culture. Guess who was wrong? Me. And I feel bad for all the people that don't see it. And I had a lot of conversation with people in my comments, and I'm happy about it, because that's the beauty of content, that you can hear opinions. Once I'll post this video, I can hear all the opinions from everybody. It's a big diary. I say my opinion, you say yours, and we can have a nice conversation, okay? And one of these comments mentioned how much American culture has been so spread out that people don't even see it as American anymore. We talk about country music, cowboy hats, football games, high school. When I was a teenager, my dream was to experience American high school. I wanted to be an exchange student just to experience American high school, okay? But if you talk about this to Europeans, everybody's dream is probably being in an American high school, and then they're like, in the same phrase, they will straight up tell you that America has no culture. And that was me. That's why I'm saying it. That was me. My dream was to come to the US and being in a high school, being a cheerleader, being at a football game. And in the same phrase, I will tell you that America has no culture. And that's what's stupid about it, because what are we talking about? This is a thing that can only be in the US. Yes, you can find high school cheerleaders and football games probably in other countries as well. But as we know it and as we romanticize it, I would say it's only an American thing. Barbecues, road trips. Can we... Okay, there's a lot of things that I started to accept. Not even accept, I just started seeing with different eyes. Instead of saying, oh, but this is back home. As I said in the very beginning, different is different, it is okay. And all these things are Americans, and it's part of American culture, and I started loving it and appreciating it. I'm not saying the US is the best country in the world. I feel like there's not a best country in the world in general, but once you'll start accepting the difference and you stop comparing, you will enjoy your life. I don't know how to say it better, okay? I feel like I've mentioned and I say this like 800 times in the span of 10 minutes. The US has culture, and it's okay if the culture is newer than the house of my grandma that is from 1800, okay? This is another thing that I learned. Let's go on, okay? Is it number 3 or number 4? I don't remember. Either way. Cream sodas. 2 years ago, I hated the cream sodas with a passion. I could not imagine putting cream in a soda. And this randomly was one of the things that I could never get over, because it just recently changed 6 months ago. I had septoplasty and I could not eat. And I bought like the popsicle. Are they popsicle? They're called like Italian ice, and they're like plastic with inside the ice. And one of the flavors was orange cream soda. And I was like, I'm never gonna eat that. But the fact is that the packet doesn't say the flavor. There was an orange one that was orange something, and another orange one that was the orange cream soda. One time I just grabbed an orange one thinking that it was just the orange juice or whatever it was. And it was not. It was the orange cream soda, because I found out that it tasted like orange and also like milky. And that was fantastic. I never felt more stupid in my life, if I have to be 100% serious. I never felt that dumb and dumbest more than that, because when I had it and I tried it, I was like, I've missed out on this for years. 2 years. For a year and a half, I refused to have cream sodas. Okay. Perfect. Car alarm. This video is becoming super long, so I decided that I don't have a next point. I'm gonna actually put a break or a pause to it, or a point. I don't know if I'll make a part 2, honestly, because I feel like I talked about everything that I wanted to talk about. But the main thing that I wanted to mention in this video, to kind of wrap it up, is that when you move to a new country, something starts to change. And at first, the first couple of months, you feel like a visitor, and it takes time, but eventually one day you realize that this is where your life is happening now. And I'm happy that a lot of things started to change along the way for me, and the US has stopped feeling like the place that I moved to, and would say it started feeling like home. And maybe some of you who moved to another country understand exactly what I mean, but I'm talking about the feeling of when a new place slowly starts to become yours. That's what I felt, and that's why I wanted to make this video. And I'm not saying that it becomes yours because everything is perfect, or not because everything is the same as Italy or is the same as back home, because this is where my life is right now. The memories that I'm making, the people that I'm meeting, the experiences that I'm having, all the food that I've tried, the person that I am becoming, because the person that I am today is completely different from the person that I was 2 years ago before moving here. As I said in the beginning, 2 years ago I moved here with a lot of suitcases and double the opinions, and as of today I just feel grateful and I'm happy to be here. If you've ever had this experience of moving away from the place you grew up in, I think you will understand the feeling that I'm talking about in this video. One thing that I want to highlight is that I did not lose Italy once I moved here. I just gained another home and another life and change of minds, wind of changes that make me the person that I am today. So happy 2 years in America, I would say. Yay. And we got to the end of the video. I wanted to do a little closing saying thank you if you made it all the way to the end, if you watch it, to all my people, to all my community. I wanted to say sorry because I disappeared for like 4 or 5 months, but I had a couple things happen to me that played a big role on my mental health. When these things happen, I prefer to handle everything off social media. I film videos when I'm happy because I want to show the best version of myself. I don't know how to explain it, but if I'm not doing okay, I don't want to put on a fake smile and be like, oh, everything is perfect, because it's not. So thank you for sticking around. I hope you liked the video. If you haven't and you would like to hear more, just subscribe to my Just Talk, and I'll see you when I'll see you. But as of right now, have a good day, and